Blessings to you, Yaira Nami. What follows is Genesis chapter 1, verse 3. And it reads, And God said, Let there be light. And there was light. And ye mawu gblɔ be kekeli ne do. Ale kekeli do. So God said, Let there be light. And there was light. Is the English translation suggesting that Genesis chapter 1 verse 3 is the day when light was created? Are we seeing here at this stage of creation the birth day of light? The answer is no, given the fact that the one who was creating the universe is himself light. God is light before earth was created, before Genesis 1 verse 1, 2 and 3. God existed and he is light. In 1 John chapter 1 verse 5 from the King James Version we read, quote, This then is the message which we have heard of him who is Yashi Jesus, and declare unto you that God is light, and in him is no darkness at all. Unquote. So before earth was, God already is. And because God is light, means that light existed before earth was created. So what then is Genesis chapter 1, let there be lights, all about? Let's break the ancient Hebrew letters down and look into the context closely. And God said, okay, Eye ma'u blombe, ye, the ye, it is afterwards, it indicates a sequence, okay, next in order, after the Holy Spirit has descended on the waters. So God said, okay, next in order, the entity, this is Ma'u, okay, the Ma and the Wu, the entity enthroned above the waters, okay, Bulon, okay, the B here indicates the B sound, and then it indicates the breath. So it is a combination of breath plus sound that is voice. We call it the voice. But okay, it is a formulation. So afterwards, the entity enthroned above the waters breathed out sounds. The Most High formulated sounds which allowed, okay, it is a formulation. So the light, kekeli, it means to allow, and the do, launch and enclosure, to come out. So afterwards, the entity enthroned above the waters breathed out sounds which allowed light, kekeli, to do, to manifest, to come out and be infused into the darkness. And there was light. Ale indicates in a successful execution, in a successful application of what God said by the sound of his voice, light manifested, light came out. So in Genesis chapter 1 verse 3, God, who was or who is enthroned above the water, used his breath to formulate sounds, telling the light precisely what it must do, where and how. And with light now shining in the darkness, everything is exposed. Everything is shown as it truly is from inside out. And now God can begin to separate things or to put things together, which is Genesis 1 verse 4. Yahweh said, "Light, come out." Does light by itself have a place of its own? The answer is yes. Job 38 verse 19 from King James Version, it reads, quote, "Where is the way where light dwelleth? And as for darkness, where is the place thereof?" Unquote. Yahweh in the book of Job questioned Job, where is the place where light dwells? So light has a storehouse. There is a storehouse for light. There is a storehouse for rain. There is a storehouse for snow and for hail and for darkness. That's why the Most High commanded light to come out. He said, "Do." Okay, do. Launch enclosure. Come out of your enclosure. Come out of your house, just as Jesus commanded Lazarus to come out of the grave. Lazarus, do come out. According to Genesis chapter 1 verse 1 and 2, our universe as Yahweh created it has a physical side, which is our realm, and then the other side, which is the spiritual realm. The transition between heaven and earth is established through doors or portals, and often the Bible uses the terminology as of the heavens open, or so and so appeared, which is things that are of the other realm transitioning to our realm. And Gabriel appeared to Mary, and for Mary, it was as though Gabriel was coming out of nowhere, coming from the spiritual realm and manifesting in the physical. Gabriel appeared to Mary. Gabriel came from the other dimension to Mary, which we see in Luke chapter 1 verse 26 through 28. And also the angel of the Lord appeared to Manoah and his wife in the book of Judges chapter 13. And in a third example, in Genesis chapter 18 verse 2, we read that Abraham was visited by three men. It reads, "And he, Abraham, lift up his eyes and looked, and lo, three men stood by him. And when he saw them, he ran to meet them from the tent door and bowed himself toward the ground. So suddenly Yahweh and two angels appeared unto Abraham from the other dimension. For Abraham, it was as though something suddenly appeared before him. So the Bible calls that appearances, when things from the spiritual world transition or manifest into our physical realm. Reversely, The Bible uses the terminology of ascension or of disappearance when things from our realm transition over to the other side. As an example, Enoch in the book of Genesis, chapter 5, ascended into heaven. He was translated from this realm into the spirit, into heaven, just like Elijah in the book of 2 Kings, chapter 2, verse 11. Elijah was taken up into heaven in the chariots of fire. Okay, he transitioned to the other dimension. And in a third example, we read in the book of Acts, chapter 1, verse 9, from the King James Version, that, and when he, Jesus, Yashi, had spoken these things, while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight. So Jesus likewise was translated. He vanished from their sight. He transitioned from the physical realm into the spiritual realm. That's why Yahweh said, let there be light. In other words, light, do come out. And now he can see things clearly. He can tell things apart. And now he can begin to uh, divide things. He can begin to rearrange the earth to make it inhabitable, to make it able to sustain life. And this is the next verse of Genesis chapter 1, verse 4, which we're going to take a close look at in our next presentation. So stay tuned, and until next time.